Construction Coach here. Today, I'm putting in my shower valves in the steam shower at my cabin build. And I thought that I'd make a video for you guys to see everything I know about shower valves. If you're about to put in a shower valve, this is the perfect video for you. We're gonna go to 4 different locations, starting at a basement development project where I install a Moen shower valve just like this one. Then we'll go to a basement renovation project where I take out a leaky Moen valve that someone put in improperly, and I put in a Delta shower valve, show you how to test that all up. Then we'll go to the luxury washroom renovation where I put in a Gromi shower valve, a little bit different of an install compared to the other two. And final, we're gonna go to the original basement development project where I made the original Construction Coach video series from, and take a look at how things have really maintained the same and how I'll put a shower valve together the exact same 8 years ago as I do today. So let's take a look. Just unboxing the Moen shower valve with tub stem and opening up these 1/2-inch PEX by 1/2-inch female adapter fittings to go on the sides to accept the water supply. Now I'm going to do my stem to the bathtub stem in copper, and I'm going to rough in at first the upper portion from the valve to the drop of your elbow with copper as well, so I'm going to show you both ways in this scenario. Okay, so that's nice 4 clean wraps of Teflon tape. Most manufacturers recommend you use between 3 and 6. It also depends on the type of Teflon tape you've got. So it's very important that when you repressurize your water system that you inspect that location for leaks, because that's where most of the leaks are going to come up, is not wrapping properly or not tightening down the adapters on the side. Okay, now I'm going to cut some copper tubing and show you guys the bottom stem that I'm going to solder right into the valve to an elbow and then out of the wall to attach the tub stem to. And then I'm going to cut the top piece and show you how to rough into the female drop of your elbow for soldering as well. In this situation, I did go with the PEX, but I wanted to demo both scenarios so that you guys knew that the shower valves could be hooked up either way. Great mock-up of copper. Now I'm gonna add the last 1/2-inch PEX to 1/2-inch adapter to the top so that I can use PEX to go up to my female drop of your elbow. So this is much easier in my opinion, and it also allows you to do offsets. In some showers I've put niches right in line with where the vertical pipe would go up, so the PEX allows me to make an offset by just going like kinking it over and bringing it back in. So I find it a lot easier. Now you can't use PEX on the down stem. The inside diameter of the PEX is a little smaller, so if you try to use PEX down at the bottom to attach this tub stem somehow, it will always fail on you and push water up the shower stem, so it will be installed incorrectly. So for now you've got to use the bottom copper, because if the outside or the inside diameter of the pipe is large enough to allow the water to come out without sending it up to the shower head. Now I've got my shower valve all roughed in. I'm going to get my son to unpack my torch and plumbing solder kit and show you guys how to do a nice clean solder. And just a reminder before we get into any soldering, if you're going to solder right onto the valve, make sure you remove the cartridge The Moen cartridge comes out quite easy, and the Delta faucets come without the cartridge in.
I'm going to take you guys through soldering some copper joints. So I've got a 1/2 inch copper pipe here, one 90-degree 1/2 inch elbow, and this is actually the tub spout for my bathroom rough-in. So what I'm going to do is this has to go into the shower valve. I'll show you that. We're going to solder that one in place. But I'm going to do this joint for you here, up nice and close so you can see what's up. Now there's a couple key things about soldering. You must prep all your fittings and your pipes. So what I've got here is a 4-in-1 pipe fitting brush. This is really handy. It does the outside and the inside and the outside and the inside of 1/2 inch and 3/4. Handy tool. Just picked it up this morning. Here, the brush tool. I'm gonna stick that inside. Rough it all up. Look at that polish on that. See that? So I'm in here like really brushing that down. So that's outside looking good. Woo. Okay, so that's the outside. Now here's the fitting itself. Got the 1/2 inch end. Get inside there. Nice. Ooh, fancy. Okay, so perfect. Now, very important, next step. This is plumbing flux. This is what attracts the solder into the joint. So what I like to do is get my brush, okay, I've got it in the fitting and on the pipe end. Connect those two together. Okay, so this piece is ready to start heating up to get ready to solder. Now here's my plumbing solder. It is very, very important that if you're doing anything related to residential construction or potable water, that you use lead-free solder. I don't know why they sell non-lead free at the hardware store. I think people use it in electronics and things like that, and it's just cheaper. But when you're doing plumbing, you need lead free. You're looking for that nice blue cone, and I'm gonna start heating the fitting. Now, it's very, very important to heat the fitting, not the solder. Now when you got your fitting good and hot, this solder should just all right, pretty good solder. I got some dripping that came down because of the position I was in like this. But I could see down in the joint that I've seated solder way down in there. So I'm gonna show you.
Now let's get ready to heat this one up. Always make sure you have a fire extinguisher and a well-ventilated area while soldering. Try to do most of your solders not in the position where you can burn the framing. After I'm finished soldering this one, I'm going to take you guys through a unique walkthrough with my master plumber that pulls permits for me on projects like this. He just requires some payment and phone chat to see that I've got everything under control at the project, and I thought it was a very unique way for you guys to see a finished rough-in with the water tie-ins complete and the sink drain roughed in and the shower valve. In this situation, we're still waiting for our tub, but it's enough done to get this walkthrough done.
My shower valve. This is still loose because I've got to take it out to get the tub in because they're still laid on the tub right now. And then down here is my my trap. Like they've already got it down, or my tie-in down there, and I've already got my non-union single trap that will go in there. I just kind of propped it here so you knew that I knew what was going on.
Yeah, no, that's excellent.
Okay, and I've used a 2x6 wall for my plumbing wall. You can see here the water lines go up. All my tie-ins were right there. So the top 3 are the cold water tie-ins and the bottom 2 are the hot water tie-ins. And I made them all so you could see there's no finishing going on in that mechanical room. So even when you call for the final, I'll be able to show you all this stuff for the tub behind the wall.
The tile's complete and this washroom is almost done. My son's just installing the tub spout to the copper pipe stem that was there. Now he's putting on the clean out or overflow cover. And then he's going to proceed to put the shower valve finish plate and handle assembly on. When working with finished products like this, only use screwdrivers, don't use your drill. You might torque on screws too tight. And just follow the instructions on the proper way of putting everything together. You recommend always going through the manual as well, and it'll sharpen up your skills so that you know you're doing it exactly how the manufacturer recommended. Such a treat to be apprenticing my son, taking him to work with me and showing him what I know. It's fun to see him learn and try different things. Right, final stage, shower stem. Wrap 3 to 4 wraps of Teflon tape, insert into female drop ear elbow, and tighten. Sometimes I'll use the handles of my channel locks to get the last crank in. I recommend always leaving a line of sight to see if that is leaking beside the tile, unless you have an undeveloped area behind where you're able to view. But this is the #1 area that I see leaks, is inside the wall. In that connection, people are not making sure that they've got it tight enough or enough wraps of Teflon.
Okay, so we're down in the mechanical room on my basement project, and you can see here I've got access to all my plumbing from behind the wall. Now this is really handy, and I suggest this all the time in projects, that if you can gain access and have visual of your shower valve and your water lines and all that stuff, it's gonna make it way easier in the end if you ever have any problems, because you're right here with everything. So if you have the choice on what you're doing, sometimes people will build a closet up against something like this if it's not right against your mechanical room, make a panel so you can get in there and see things. It's really handy to be able to get back here and see what's going on. Done.
Alright, let's take it to project 2. This is a basement renovation I did for a downstairs washroom. This shower was put in so incorrectly. Lots of leaks. The homeowner was embarrassed to let people go down there, so he asked me to tear it all apart. And here's an existing Moen shower valve where you can see that it has been leaking from the 1/2-inch PEX adapter forever. It's got a white drip line in the rock salt. Here's the new Delta faucet that we just recently installed. It goes in pretty well the same as the Moen one, except they get you to insert your cartridge yourself after, and they used a tub rough-in in this situation, so I have a bottom PEX piece just blocking that off, so that's how you can turn a tub valve into just a shower valve. And because I want to close this wall off to finish the waterproofing in the tile area, I'm running a test on this one. I couldn't cover it up not knowing how it runs and visually inspect everything, so I've threaded in the shower stem and attached this PEX water line to it, and I'm gonna run a 20-minute simulated shower here while I go through and inspect all the fittings. Now I recommend this all the time. If you're gonna cover something up right away, make sure you run some testing and actually run it through its normal course. I've had situations in the past where I did a whole renovation in a basement for a homeowner. Then when they moved into the house and started using the toilets and showers, they had a major blockage in the line, and we didn't know that. So it's things like this that you can find problems and look for things by not rushing so fast and just making sure that you've done a good job before you carry on to the next step. Now you can see the plastic protector plate that they put on there. Always maintain that size when you're cutting through your tile and drywall, because they want you to visually be able to see all the connection points inside the wall down the road, because that's the first area of leaks or any problems. And again, at the top there you can see the drop your elbow. It is very important to always have a visual on that. In this situation, I kept that tile away, and when I put the showers head on, I made sure I could sight around the scutcheon, making sure that there's no little drips that came from that as well. Now I'm just going through this with my son, the apprentice. He is the future of construction, and I recommend really taking your time with the young people out there so that you can pass your trades down and make sure everybody knows what's going on. Wow, what a transformation. We tore out that yellowy, stainy back fiberglass wall, installed these brand new tiles, and I used the same brand of base. It was from Home Depot, Max Shower Kit. Worked out pretty good. It was a little bit on the lower end of things. And you can see I've got my Delta finish trim on, and the shower head's all reinstalled. And this job is all freshly siliconed, ready for the homeowner to use. And if you like this tile job or the glass shower door install, we've got some new videos coming out highlighting those. So stay tuned for that. All right, with this one wrapped up, let's head over to job site 3, the luxury washroom renovation. This is a Gromi shower valve, and I found it quite interesting because it was taking 1/2-inch male adapters in all of its sockets and doesn't give you any options to solder. Very similar installation to any other valve, except you're using the male adapters. And this shower valve has a hand wand, so you have the ability to have water come out of the shower head or shift it over to the hand wand that you'll see me install here coming up. And this is a very similar thing. Just tighten all your lugs down, do your 4 wraps of Teflon tape, and you should be leak free. Test it all. And here's the finish. The natural earth gray marble tiles look amazing. I'm just getting the shower trim all put on so that I can finish off with the glass shower door. This project was a great fun little job, and there is a whole playlist in the YouTube library, luxury washroom renovation playlist. So if that interests you, that is a step-by-step full procedure of this washroom. All right, just about wrapped up on this one. Job site 4 is the vintage construction coach videos I made 8 years ago in my basement development project. It's interesting to see how things have not changed too much. I'm literally putting in the exact same shower valve.
Okay, now that you've got your tub in and your drain all done, next is going to be your shower valve and bathtub stem. How you go about doing that is, buy a package kit that's got all your accessories. Roughly decide where your stuff is got to go, and then we're going to solder. We're going to attach a fitting up here, which this threads into. Solder copper pipe down to the shower valve itself. Out of the bottom of the shower valve goes for your tub stem, and here's my hot line, and here's my cold line. When I go through this setup, I'm going to show how to use PEX and PEX fittings. I'm going to show copper soldering through this shower stem and the bathtub stem, and I'm going to show Teflon tape and threaded fittings to connect the PEX into the sides of the shower valve. Now we're going to get our shower assembly set up. This is typical valve that would be hidden behind the wall in your house. I'm just going to fit all the pieces together for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So the handle would be on the front there, obviously turning the hot and cold water on. Out of the bottom of the valve would go to your tub spout, and out of the top of your valve would go to your shower head. I'm going to go through the steps required to solder together this unit so that we can mount it back into the wall and have an operational shower head and bathtub stem. So with my shower valve, the bottom stem that leads to the bathtub and the top stem that leads to the shower head, I'm going to be using copper 1/2-inch line. Copper 1/2-inch line is going to be attached into here using solder and flux. To do so, you need to start by cutting your pieces to length, which I've already got cut. I've got a piece here that I wanted to show you at home how I did get this cut. I've got here a tube cutter, quite easy to use. You fit it into the grooves here, tighten down on your pipe, just finger tight, and start turning. So you do 1 full turn, and then you turn it a 1/4 turn on the knob. 1 full turn, 1/4 turn. What the 1/4 turn does is threads this tighter, creating this little groove that's in the pipe itself. Eventually it'll just get so deep and shear off. So 1/4 turn, full turn, 1/4 turn, full turn, 1/4 turn, and there you go. Quite easy to cut. Another method is to use a hacksaw, cutting it by hand. It's not a preferred method. This is quite an inexpensive tool at your local hardware store to get. It makes a very clean cut, which definitely helps when you're fitting into these fittings to have a square piece so that you're getting nice contact with your pipe. Okay, so start again with my shower valve. They're quite often marked where the top is. This one says up is here, so I know that's leading to the shower head, and again down would be leading to the bath. So I'm going to set my shower valve on a piece of wood block so that I don't light my table on fire. And here's all my pieces that I'm going to use. To prep these pieces to be ready for solder, this factory sheen that's on the copper pipe needs to be sanded off. So you get a emery cloth oxide, aluminum oxide sandpaper, set it on about 3/4 of an inch, and rub off that sheen. And you basically want to see lots of lines and, you know, grit instead of the nice polished pipe. So I'm going to do that on each end of these pipes. Again, now looking at these finished pipes, you can see that I've got the polished copper rubbed off on each end. That will help with the solder adhering the pipes together. With the fittings, you can't really get sandpaper inside there, so you need a wire brush. That fits into the fitting, and of course, then you can just spin it, and what that's doing is just scratching up the inside, getting it ready for the soldering as well. I'm going to do that same thing to the valve itself. Okay. So now that you've got your fittings and your copper pipes prepped by rubbing the polished edges off, next step is to use some flux on the pipe fittings. What flux does is when you're soldering, it draws the solder deep into the fitting rather than just staying at the surface. So it acts like kind of like a vacuum to make sure that you're fully fitting everything, or fully filling it with the solder, which will ensure a non-leaky joint. There we go. Once you've got your flux and, well, your sanding done and your flux on, you can begin to dry fit all the pieces together. That way you're not just soldering one thing at a time, which would obviously be a little more time consuming. Again, you're going to want to look for the part that says up, so you know that you're not putting the bottom piece in the top and the top piece in the bottom. This way. Okay, after dry fitting your pieces together, you're going to want to make sure that this is in line with this and in line with this. If you have a straight edge board, you can use that. You could use a level. I prefer just to use my eye coming down to the edge, sighting down, and I can see here that this is in line with this, but this stem needs to just come over a touch. All right, so that's looking good. Okay, now that we've checked the line of all our joints, our dry fit looks pretty good. Our flux is in each of these joints, and all our joints have been sanded. Gonna use this lead-free solder. Lead-free solder is what you want to use in a residential application for any water that might get into a human body. You definitely want to make sure you've got lead-free solder. What I'm going to do is use my propane torch, heat up the joint, just so I can see that the solder is getting warm and the pipe is getting hot. I'm going to take my lead-free solder, touch it here, and bring it around, and that flux is going to suck that solder in to the depth that we've got the pipe in the fitting.
As per manufacturer's recommendations, when you're soldering close to the valve, remove the cartridge. There's some simple instructions in the manual to remove the cartridge safely and keep it away from the heat of the torch.
With your solders complete, you're now ready to attach fittings for here. If you were doing copper lines through your whole house, you would do the same. In this house in particular, it's all PEX water lines, which is a plastic water line. They use fittings and rings to crimp on. To get set up for that on the valve, I need to attach these two fittings. The left on the hot water and the right on the cold water. Now with threaded type fittings, you can't just fit those on and tighten them up and be good. Water will still come out. you need to use Teflon tape. Teflon tape is really thin kind of plastic Teflon material. How you go about doing this is you've got to wrap it around the threaded portion of the fitting in a clockwise manner. And once you get it started, it's a little tricky to get the first wrap. Once you get it started, you need to go for 3 full wraps. So that's 2. And that was 3. The reason you wrap this in a clockwise motion is because that's the same direction you're going to be applying the fitting on. If you put it in a counterclockwise, you will be loosening the Teflon tape as you're applying your fitting. Okay, so that's the Teflon tape prep. Now you can finger tight on your fittings. Okay, now I've got those finger tight. Use channel locks. Get a nice grip on that. And don't be scared to tighten these really tight. Okay, one done. All right. So that's the finished shower valve, ready to be assembled into the wall. Hot line coming into the left side, cold line coming into the right. Now that you've got your finished shower valve with your shower stem and bathtub stem, you're ready to mount it into the wall, something like this. But again, we've got to come up with our 15-inch measurement off the studding so that the shower head, the valve, the tub stem line up with the overflow and the drain. So I'm going to proceed with using my square, measuring off the studding, and got my 15-inch mark.
Just pause there. Just run through that one more time.
Yep.
You don't have to talk. Just...
Okay. That's my center line for the shower valve. I'm going to mark the same up here on for the shower head. Got my 15-inch mark there. Tick. Spread it down and center line. Now you got your shower stem ready to go. You got your center lines marked. Going to proceed with installing that to the backing. Place this on my center. Screw. Okay, good and tight. Move up to the top. Get that on the center line. All right, so shower assembly installed. Next we're going to attach this PEX water line into our threaded fitting. Hot on the left, cold on the right. Okay, so we're gonna start by marking our PEX line. This is PEX ring right here with a stopper to stop the water. This line is full of water. It has been pressurized before, and this obviously stops the water from coming out. We have shut off the water to the house. I'm gonna cut this. It's gonna drain the rest of the water that's in the line. I'm gonna hook it up to here with one of these rings on it, and I'm gonna use the special crimper to crimp the ring down, and we should have a nice, secure, tight fit. So that one. Now, to be on the safe side, always cut it longer and shave it down after if you need to. This is a special cutter designed to cut this PEX line, so you line up with where you want to hit. And you simply squeeze. And there's the extra water going down our finished drain. Now these old pieces and stuff like that, do not ever reuse them. They cannot be reused. This is just definitely a garbage piece. All right, so that's drained all out. Want to grab one of your PEX rings, slip it on ahead of time. Now the idea with these rings that you can see here with the finished product is just to be back from the edge about an 1/8 of an inch. So when I set this ring on, I'm back 1/8 of an inch. I'm fit tight against my fitting, and that there is ready to be crimped. These are the crimpers. This hole is for a 1/2 inch line, which is what we're using. This hole is for a 3/4 inch line. Open it up. Put it on the center of your fitting and simply compress it. They lock down right tight. And that is a sealed, finished water line. So I'm going to do the same with the hot. Then we'll be ready to repressurize the house. Then I want to fill this bathtub to test the drain and make sure everything was done properly. And finish mounting it in accurately, and we should be all done. A little less than that one. So again, your PEX ring over your pipe. Fit it on nice and tight. Back the ring 1/8 of an inch. Get your special crimpers. Put that on center. And there you go. Okay, so this is all nice and secure. This is leaking because the valve is open right now. Okay, now that we've got our PEX lines hooked up, I've repressurized the system. Hot on the left, you can feel it, it's nice and warm. Cold on the right. Just want to do some testing. Instead of bringing in the actual hardware that finishes, you could use a pair of pliers. Don't wreck the end of it, but you can do some testing. So that's all working good. Most valves, this one, will give you a protective cover, protect all this while construction is going on. So just slide that on. This fits on over top. And there you go, all protected.